I'm sure you all know that social media has lots of negative effects, such as decreasing your attention span. As we scroll on short form content, our brain gets used to absorbing like 15-second reels, 7-second TikToks, and our attention span decreases, which further decreases our productivity in other areas of our lives. For example, it's going to take longer for me to finish a piece of homework, to finish any task at all, even something that doesn't require a lot of brain power. And that's kind of detrimental to your quality of life. I noticed that when I use social media too much, I tend to become very forgetful and my brain becomes very slow. So when I'm talking to people like my mother or sometimes other people, I would be distracted, like on my phone, and I would need a second or third or fourth reminder, which is not healthy whatsoever. It's like you slowly brain rot without realizing it, and that's kind of scary. As a person who uses social media frequently, I have experienced these negative consequences, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have also had similar experiences. And so today I wanted to show you guys 2 ways to reduce the power that social media holds over us and actually become our best selves without spending all our time on our phones. The first thing I would suggest is to delete or reduce use on social media apps that don't serve your purpose. As a content creator, I utilize platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And these are platforms that I cannot delete because otherwise I won't be able to create content on these platforms. So for me, I cannot delete these platforms. But for you, are you creating content on these platforms? I'd say YouTube and Instagram could be more necessary nowadays because YouTube is not just a social media platform, it can also teach you lots of things educationally and not. Whilst Instagram is a major hub for communication with different people nowadays, so that might be pretty essential. But TikTok is not something that all people need necessarily. If you don't create content on TikTok, I don't think that you actually need TikTok, and it's honestly could just be a really big waste of time. As for me personally, I've deleted some social media apps that just don't serve me anymore. I remember back in grade 6, I downloaded Snapchat because everyone had Snapchat, and everyone still does probably. But I thought about it and I was like, it just, there's no purpose in having Snapchat. So I think I used it for like half a year or a year, and I just deleted the app, and I've never ever regretted it. Like not once has it crossed my mind to be like, oh, I missed out on Snapchat, because there's no purpose in having it. Another app I deleted and I have no regrets over is Twitter. Twitter is an app that I downloaded later on, I think maybe grade 9 and grade 10 in high school, and I would use it to, sometimes share some of my thoughts. And I have a friend, Reina, who's also pretty active on Twitter, so sometimes I would just like read her tweets, but that was about it. And to think about it, I don't really need it because it's only just like my thoughts and Reina's thoughts, and I could honestly communicate on Reina through Instagram. So thinking about the cost benefit analysis, I decided we don't need this app anymore. So I also deleted Twitter. So it's really just like reflecting on your life and thinking, what do I need? What do I not really need? And actually taking action to clean up the unnecessary things in your life. My second tip is to really switch your mindset into one that's focusing on your life. Because sometimes we see all these lovely things on social media, like traveling, pretty girls, and it may be very tempting to compare. Like, honestly, I do too. Like, sometimes I watch people's morning routine reels and I'm like, how can they be so aesthetic? And like, why is their room so clean? Why are they so productive? But then to think about it, it's just a short fraction of their lives, of their true lives. Like, they're not going to post themselves crying. Well, they might, but not as often as the happy moments, right? And honestly, we're just looking at a highlight reel of everyone's lives, me included. As a content creator, I do sometimes share my thoughts and my feelings, but I assure you, I have way more thoughts and feelings than I ever post on social media. Like, the ratio is not right on this platform, I believe, for my own content as well, because it's more of like what you want to show people and what part of yourselves you want to present, and people usually want to present the best parts of themselves. Hence why you shouldn't really trust anything you see on social media like 100%. Obviously you could take inspiration, but try not to actually compare your life. And when you take a step back and you realize this and you switch this mindset into one like, you know what, I'm going to live my life, they can live theirs, and you start to live in the moment, you'll notice that there's so many great things in your life. There's like a lot of little things that you haven't previously noticed that you actually start taking time to notice in your life. For example, I remember taking like social media detoxes. In those 2 weeks that I took a detox, they were really happy. I was able to walk my dog. I was able to spend time with people without thinking much about, like, you know, addictive scrolls, and not having to respond to people 24/7 also makes it a little bit easier. So it's really about taking that balance. Obviously, you don't have to go as far as deleting an entire app if you think that you still somehow need it, but it could be great to take breaks or set time limits on these apps. I used to set like a 1 hour time limit, but I realized that I didn't really care about the time limits. Like, I would just ignore the time limits. So I'm trying to do things more intuitively. What I would do is usually I would just like finish scrolling in the morning and also respond to all my texts, and then throughout the day I tried to not really scroll until I come back home at night, and then I'll do that routine again. So that's what works for me, but obviously things work different for everybody, and it's about finding what you can actually manage consistently in the long term. But yeah, so I hope that you found this video sort of helpful, or just something that's kind of thought-provoking, and I hope that we can both manage our social media addictions together, because I myself am a member of the club. And so yeah, I'll let you guys know in the future if I ever have any problems, and we can like work on this together. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.